and welcome everyone to the third race of the 2021 FASCAR season, the Phoenix 300. The Phoenix International Speedway is a 1 mile oval with a unique layout that includes the normal and standard turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, but a kink as well on the front stretch. Phoenix underwent major renovations about a decade ago to switch the layout of the track from its original layout, which had the front stretch being on the pit lane side of the track, to flipping the checkered flag and finish line to the other side of the track where the kink is. And they've extended the apron down so that cars can cut it if they so choose to on restarts and such. So going into the third race, Michael McDowell leads the way in the championship with 565 points, 15 points ahead of Joey Logano. Denny Hamlin, your 500 miles of Daytona winner, drops down to fourth place as he suffered a DNF due to his crash late in the Las Vegas 375. The Las Vegas 375 winner, Kevin Harvick, jumps up into 11th position after his win, but remains 135 points off of McDowell. In the team standings, Joe Gibbs still maintains its lead over Front Row Motorsports, with Penske rounding off the podium. Now going into qualifying, a total of 38 cars entered for today's race, meaning that 2 did not make the cut, and that those were the number 78 of BJ McLeod and number 66 of Timmy Hill. Now looking at the starting grid for the Phoenix 300, Cole Custer won pole position, his first pole of the season. Michael McDowell, an impressive P2. Denny Hamlin starts in third, with Joey Logano in fourth. Ryan Preece starts fifth. Kyle Larson starts sixth. Eric Almirola starts seventh. Brad Keselowski starts eighth. Cody Ware, an impressive ninth place qualifying position. And Kurt Busch rounds out your top 10. Kevin Harvick qualifies 11th, with Bubba Wallace in 12th. Austin Dillon in 13th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 14th. Noah Gragson in 15th. Kyle Busch in 16th. Ross Chastain in 17th. Ryan Newman in 18th. William Byron in 19th. Christopher Bell in 20th. James Early, in his second start for Union Jack Racing, starts 21st. Alex Bowman starts 22nd. Chris Buescher starts 23rd. Anthony Alfredo starts 24th. Tyler Reddick starts 25th. Martin Truex Jr. starts 26th. Corey LaJoie starts 27th. Quinn Houff starts 28th. Josh Bilicki starts 29th. Justin Haley starts 30th. Daniel Suarez starts 31st. Eric Jones starts 32nd. Chase Briscoe starts 33rd. Matt DiBenedetto starts 34th. Chase Elliott starts 35th. And wrapping up the field is Ryan Blaney in 36th. And now let's head to the track for the start of the race. As you can see, the cars are pulling out onto track, starting their pace lap before going green here at Phoenix. So as you can see, the cars leave from the front stretch, which is unusual for a NASCAR circuit, as most NASCAR tracks have their pit road exits at the very end of the front stretch going into turns 1 and 2. However, and then the pit entrance at turns 3 and 4. However, at Phoenix, due to the reconfiguration, the pit entrance is actually after turns 1 and 2, and the pit exit comes directly out onto the front stretch into this unique egg shape with a little bump on the side configuration. Now as we ride along here with 11th place Kevin Harvick, we get ready for the start of the race. Cole Custer is approaching the flag stand, and the green flag is out, and away we go for the Phoenix 300 here in Phoenix. So Cole Custer looks to hold on to the lead from Michael McDowell, but McDowell power rounds the outside and takes the lead heading into turn 1 for the first time in 75. You can see going 4 wide into turn 1 and 2 is quite normal on the first lap, as that flat apron really allows the FASCAR drivers to to cut the corner. As you can see, Denny Hamlin moving past Cole Custer into third place, although Custer might fight back around the outside. He is unable to, and Denny takes third place. And Ryan Preece back in fifth, looks to make a move, following Hamlin past Custer. He cuts back into the line. We follow along Harvick, who's currently riding in ninth place, as they are 3 and 4 wide in the background. This surely cannot work for much longer. As you can see, Ross Chastain on the inside slows up that inside line, and we're 3 wide. Oh, we got a turn. We got a spin in the background. It looks to be the number 14 of Chase Briscoe involved, as well as the 52 of Josh Blicky and the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto. Very unfortunate start for those 3 drivers, as the caution flag waves here at Phoenix, and the drivers sort themselves out in order to prepare to pit, possibly for the first time. The pit window today is about 20 to 25 laps, meaning that cars will stop 2 or 3 times in today's race, if all goes green. However, the first caution of the day came out at lap 2, meaning that most drivers are taking the opportunity to get a quick dive into the pits, as we have a few that are deciding to stay out. That being the 34 of McDowell, the 37 of Preece, the 10 of Alcohol, the 13 of Early, the 62 of Gragson, the 20 of Bell, the 38 of Alfredo, the 19 of Truex, the 7 of LaJoy, the 99 of Suarez, the 43 of Jones, the 8 of Reddick, and the number 14 of Briscoe, who's involved. Although it looks like Jones has suffered some rear deck lid damage, probably from the collision while everybody was trying to form up behind the pace car. An unfortunate occurrence for the 43. As everybody starts forming up, as no lap cars are heading down pit road, as it's only the race, so nobody has been yet. Very interesting race should play out now that we've got 2 distinct groups out on split pit strategies. The first group, led by McDowell up at the front, followed by Preece, Almirola, Early, and Gragson, should be able to hold on to their top 5 places, as Phoenix is a track that is not known for being able to pass very much. With Denny Hamlin leading up the group that pit back in fresh, should be about 10th, 11th position. Cars go past the start-finish line and get our timing updated. Denny Hamlin is 13th. So I predict that Denny will probably be able to work his way up to probably about 5th place during this next run, but unlikely to get anywhere close to as clean air is king here at Phoenix, like many tracks around the world, no matter what series they run in. Pace car still has its lights on, which means we will have at least one more caution lap, as it looks like the number 48 of Alex Bowman is suffering some sort of mechanical issue that has caused him to come down pit lane, although I believe Bowman did stop with the first group. So an extra long pit stop for the 48 team. Something must be going wrong mechanically. As the field goes to pass Bowman again, does Bowman beat the pace car out in order to only stay 1 lap down, or does the pace car pass him in the pits, meaning he's got to stop at the exit of pit lane? Nope, green lights on the exit, so Bowman powers out in front of the pace car, meaning that he shall only be either 1 lap down or even on the lead lap. He catches up to the field. The pace car lights are off, which means we are going back to green flag racing next time by. We follow along here in 5th place, Noah Gragson. Gragson, who has recently announced that he will be able to compete at least the first 14 races with Beard World Motorsports, or Beard Motorsports for short, due to his top 20 finishes in the first 2 races. A surprise, considering this team was only intended to run super speedways, road courses, and crown jewel events for the season. But of course, FASCAR is always happy to see when a smaller team is able to up its schedule to more of a full-time basis. We will call him along the season to see how he progresses, especially in this Rookie of the Year challenge. As the green flag is back out and McDowell leads down through the kink, going into turn 1 and 2. Priest looks to possibly make a move as Gregson makes a move on the inside over early, and maybe the 10 of Almirola to look farther back in the field. Everybody's stacking out to 3 wide in turn 1, although it seems the number 22, Joey Lamas, split off in the pits. Again, I don't know what their crew chief is deciding, as Bowman also follows Lagana back in the pits. The 48 must have something wrong in order to be pitting twice on consecutive laps. As we look at the back-to-back here with the number 23 of Bubba Wallace, who is currently sitting in the 32nd position, right behind Chase Elliott and the 24 of Although timing is updated, Wallace is in 29th with this move on Elliott for possibly 28th. And you can see the skid marks from the caution involving the 1452 and spread out as a lot of the drivers decide to cut the bend just a little bit, or others decide to take the longer to keep up that top speed. As you see the 6 of Newman possibly looking for a move on the 51, but no, the 51 cuts in front and has a move on the 18 as they power out of turn 2 and head down the back stretch. Phoenix is one of the few tracks on the NASCAR calendar that actually have 4 distinct bank corners. Although most would consider turns 1 and 2 the same. Turn 1 is slightly steeper than turn 2 as they have to enter in at top speed before flattening out a bit, heading onto the back stretch, and then turns 3 and 4, 3 being a little bit flatter as 4 then widens out, or correction, 3 being a little bit steeper on the banking as 4 widens out onto the front stretch with the bend paved tarmac. Back when this track originally opened, this bend right here contained grass, meaning that if you tried to cut it, it would result in significant damage to your car. I, for one, am a little upset that they changed Phoenix from its old configuration to the new one, but it must have been done for the purpose of making restarts entertaining. Which, to their credit, it has definitely done. Restarts here at this track are some of the most entertaining on the entire calendar. As you can see, the number 34 has scampered off into the lead with the 37 still in second, and a surprising 3rd place for James Early in only his 2nd oval race ever. As Noah Gregson looks to possibly be passed on the inside by the 7 of LaJoy, but Gregson on the outside is able to get down on the throttle earlier and powers down the backstretch, opening up a car and a half length gap back to LaJoy. As we complete 12 of these 75 laps here, it is Michael McDowell in first, Ryan Priest in second, James Early in third, Noah Gregson in fourth, and Corey Joy rounding out your top 5. An impressive run so far for the number 38 of Anthony Alfredo, as he's running in the top 15 for the first time this season. Alfredo, one of the 4 contenders for Rookie of the Year, has the hardest challenge considering front row motorsports equipment, is most certainly the least competitive of the 4 rookies. His competition is the 14 of Chase Briscoe, the 62 of Noah Gregson, and the number 13 of James Early. As Kevin Harvick looks to possibly move into 10th position, although Kurt Busch is able to hold around the outside as Harvick cuts the corner, trying to get to the inside going into turn 1 and 2. Does he have it? Looks like he might. Nope, Kurt Busch is able to cut him off. Alfredo dives to the inside of number 20, Christopher Bell. Can he make it stick? No, as Christopher Bell powers around the outside. So far, it appears to be the day of the smaller FASCAR teams, as McDowell, Reese, Early, Gregson, and LaJoy are all not from one of the powerhouse FASCAR teams, such as Gibbs, Hendricks, Stuart Haas, or even Team Penske. Although that looks to change with Denny Hamlin hunting down LaJoy and Gregson into the 2nd place. And the 43 of Eric Jones must have hit also early on in this run in order to fix the rear end damage. That puts him 2 laps down as McDowell goes right by him. Logano was able to stay only 1 lap down despite his very early pit stop, as Bowman, due to his 2 unscheduled stops due to mechanical issues, is now 5 laps down. As we approach 20% of race distance, McDowell is still in a commanding lead over second place, Ryan Preece, as he is opening up to 2.3 seconds. So far, it's been a tough day for Kyle Busch as he sits 28th, battling with the back marker cars of Quinn Howell, Justin Haley, and Josh Bilicki. Busch has had quite a disappointing start to the season, although last week, due to really no fault of his own, as at his home race in Las Vegas, he got punted multiple times by 2 different drivers. One of those drivers that hit Busch last week, 12 of Ryan Blaney, seems to not be having a good day either, which is ultimately kind of deserved after his performance last week, causing Kyle Busch to wreck going into turn 1 and 2. As we complete lap 20, the pit window for those who did not pit under the caution will be opening soon. Again, pit window for this race is between 20 and 25 laps, meaning that 2 or 3 stops will be necessary to complete the race distance of 75 laps around this 1 mile. If we take a look here at 9th place, Kurt Busch, battling with the 19 of Truex and the 4 of Kevin Harvick for 7th position. Right ahead of them, you can see the 62 of Gragson has fallen back to 6th place, as the 11 of Denny Hamlin has passed him, moving into the top 5. Corey LaJoie is still able to hold on to the 4th position, which must be slowing up the number 11, as the number 11 has fresher tires, although not by much, as they've hit only 2 or 3, while LaJoie has stayed out the entire time. However, LaJoie, being naturally in a slower car, is allowing the front 3 to move farther away from Denny Hamlin. And Hamlin dives up the inside to possibly make a move on LaJoie. Does he get it finished coming out on the backstretch? No. And LaJoie power around the outside. It seems like today the outside lane is definitely the most prominent, as McDowell is onto the pit road for his first scheduled stop of today's race. Pitting on lap 23 means that he should be able to maybe extend it 1 or 2 more laps on his 2nd and 3rd stints in order to make it only on 2 pit stops, but we shall find out as he enters his pit box. The right side goes up. The crew gets to work changing the 2 tires as the car drops back down. They move around to the left-hand side. They jack it up, put 2 more fresh Goodyears on, and fill McDowell up with fuel, as Early seems to have taken the lead from Preece, as Preece wants to head it down. Yep, there from the onboard of Ross Chastain, can you see Ryan Preece pulling into his pit stall further up pit road? As the rookie, James Early, leads his first career FASCAR laps here at Phoenix. As you can see, he's also pulled into his pit box, getting his normal 4 tires and full of racing fuel. Early, by pitting on lap 25, should be able to make it to the end of this race on only 1 more stop. And so this cycles Denny Hamlin out into the lead, as Hamlin stopped on lap 3 under caution. He should be able to run until about lap 30. As he looks to complete lap 26 here, because of the pit stops, only 15 cars are still on the lead lap here at Phoenix. as pitting on the green typically will cost you between 1 or possibly 2 laps, depending on where you are in the field, as Denny Hamlin heads down pit lane, followed by second place Kevin Harvick. Although Kurt Busch is deciding to stay out, we'll follow him now as McDowell passes Busch. McDowell, only 1 lap down, means that he most likely will move back into the race lead, although it is appearing that Early possibly might have jumped McDowell in the pits. Is that true? I do not believe so, as I cannot see Early anywhere directly in front of McDowell. Oh, and there is Early himself behind McDowell, as Early exits out of 2, as Kurt Busch heads down pit road. So Early will now be fighting for second place with the 37 of Ryan Preece, as we right along here with the number 3 of Austin Dillon, who is 2 laps down as he hit farther back in the field. And the rest of the lead lap cars have came down onto pit road, meaning that this time by, McDowell should retake the lead here at Phoenix. Now that we have completed our first full cycle of pickups, let's take a look at these standings. The number 34 of Michael McDowell is in first place, followed by the 37 of Ryan Preece. Then the number 13 of James Early, with the number 7 of Corey LaJoie in fourth place. The number 22 of Joey Logano has managed to work his way up to fifth, although Logano will have to pit shortly, as Logano stopped under green flag conditions early on in the first run after the caution. The number 62 of Noah Gragson currently occupies 6th, with the number 11 of Denny Hamlin losing the position to Gragson through the pit cycle. The 19 of Truex holds on to 8th, while the number 4 of Kevin Harvick stays in 9th. The 10 of Eric Almirola continues his strong day as he is in 10th position. Kurt Busch, by staying out a little bit longer and most likely having better fuel security at the end of this race, costs him a few positions as he drops back to 11th. Chase Briscoe, after being involved in that early incident, is running 12th. The number 20 of Christopher Bell is running 15th, with the 5 of Larson in 14th, followed by the 41 of Cole Custer in 15th, although Custer is battling with the number 2 of Brad Keselowski, as we see a potential move for the lead, and that has it. McDowell, getting stuck behind the lap traffic of Alex Bowman, allows Ryan Preece and James Early through to take the lead position away from him as McDowell drops back to third place. Preece is now leading this race for the first time today, as Early is hot on his heels trying to lead some more laps in order to possibly gain the 10 points for most laps led. As Early looks to dive down the inside here on lap 33. Can he make it stick? As the cars fighting to stay on the lead lap wash up in front of Preece. No, Early cannot make it stick, as Preece probably will be looking to dive down the inside of the 6 of Newman and 3 of Dillon, although he's not able to. Dillon might hold him up here as Newman tries to fight to stay on the lead lap on the outside and is unable to. 13 of Preece dives up the inside of Newman, trying to get to the back of Preece, though he's able to, as Dillon was held up by the 43 of Jones, who then held up the 37 of Preece as Early goes through the dogleg onto the inside, and he takes the lead from the 37 of Ryan Preece. I am absolutely shocked at the progress that this rookie has been able to make in only his second oval start. I would not have picked Early to lead any laps on any oval other than possibly a super speedway this season. It's truly remarkable what his small team has been able to achieve in only their second race. As we we look up the field to see the 47 of Stenhouse pressuring the 17 of Busher, right behind the 8 of Reddick, the 12 of Blaney. As we head on to lap 37, approaching the halfway mark of this race. Stenhouse looks to the outside as Busher dives down the inside of Reddick and is able to make the move stick. Reddick looking really loose as his rear end seems to wiggle a bit coming out of turn 2, and that allows Stenhouse to possibly make a move going into 3 and 4. Is Stenhouse able to make it stick? Yes, he does. As they complete lap 37 themselves, and Stenhouse now goes down through the dogleg in order to get to the inside of the 17. 17 should be able to hold on here. Nope, the 17 gets a little bit loose in the dirty air of the 12, and the 47 is able to go up the inside. Next on Stenhouse's list is the number 12 of Ryan Blaney. As we now look at the battle for the top 10, you can see Anthony Alfredo having a very strong day. Correction, Anthony Alfredo seems to be a lap down. What a surprise, he was having such a strong day. Something must have happened during his pit stop in order to slow him up so much. As you can see, the 43 heads onto pit road again to make his second stop of the day. You can see Eric Jones is 1 lap down due to that first unscheduled green flag pit stop earlier in the race, as Alex Bowman is 8 laps down, really struggling today due to possible mechanical issues. As Preece and Early continue their battle as they get past the number 00 of Quinn Half and are now approaching the 52 of Bilicki and the 77 of Haley. Preece and Early should be easily able to dispatch these 2 cars as they are significantly off the pace from the front runners themselves, although Preece is held up by Haley heading into 3 and 4. As we complete lap 40, there are now 35 laps to go here at Phoenix, with James Early hot on the heels of the number 37 of Ryan Preece. As Early is able to work his way down the inside of the 77, Preece now just has to get past the 52 of Bilicki, and he will have a little bit of clean air before reaching the next pack of traffic. As we look throughout the field, there is current battling going on for 8th through 12th positions, and then from 12th on back to 15th, as most cars in the mid-pack seem to be fairly even today. Although definitely the cars that are the class of the field have been the 37, the 13th, and now into 3rd place, the number 11 of Denny Hamlin, who despite having to start back in the pack after that first caution restart, has worked his way up to 3rd place, only 5 seconds off the lead. McDowell, after starting strong, has dropped off the pace a little bit and is falling back into the clutches of the number 7 of as Hamlin looks to move to the inside of Quinn Half in the number 0. As both of the leaders have passed the number 52 of Bilicki and now move on to the next pack. As we approach lap 45, the pit window for the drivers today should be opening soon. Although if the drivers decide to short pit and come in a bit early, they probably will not be able to make it to the end of the race and will require a splash and dash at the end of the race. As you'll see, the battle back here for 15th is heating up as teammates Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe fight over it, with Brad Keselowski just ahead and Kyle Larson, although it looks like Keselowski's going to get around Larson here going into turns 1 and 2, and then power off after the 10 of Almirola and the 19 of Truex for 10th position. as Kevin Harvick chases after McDowell, LaJoie, and Gragson, who are still having strong races in 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively. Harvick, after his win at Las Vegas, is surely looking to continue his momentum in order to mount the championship challenge. As even though we are only on race 3 of this season, due to the first race of the season being a crown jewel, it sets drivers that finished farther back in the pack quite far behind the championship lead. Harvick falls into that category as he, I believe, finished 21st in the 500-mile race to start the season. As LaJoie makes a move on the inside of McDowell for 4th place, although no, they do not pit as LaJoie confirms that move and Gragson follows through. McDowell from 4th to 6th in one corner looks to make a move on the inside of Gragson in 3 and 4, but Chastain cuts off LaJoie, slowing that inside line up and allowing Gragson to have a better run off the outside, allowing him to keep position. All of this has allowed Harvick to close up to McDowell, as Harvick possibly looks for a move going into turn 1. He gets just to the back bumper, he dives to the inside using the apron to get a bit more leverage, and it looks like he has him, as Kevin Harvick passes McDowell for 6th place. See, the battle for the lead is still remaining about a half second behind as Priest leads from early from Denny Hamlin, who has closed the gap to 2.5 seconds from a previous gap of 3.5 seconds. As we follow Harvick here, possibly looking to the inside of Gragson as Gragson's held up by the 42 of Chastain. LaJoie's able to get around the slower Chastain as the next round of pit stops have officially started with 27 laps to go. Follow on board here with Harvick into 3 and 4 on lap 49 as he's trying to make a move into the top 5. But we will jump to the number 11 of Denny Hamlin in order to see if he's able to pull off a pit strategy that brings him closer to the leaders, as Early has dived down onto pit road last time. As you can see him to the inside on pit lane. As Ryan Preece's lead is only down to 1.5 seconds, and it will most likely be smaller as Denny Hamlin can now see the rear bumper of the 37. And in fact, it is down to just under 1 second. As Preece looks to lap Daniel Suarez in the 99, although Preece dives down to pit road, will Denny Hamlin be able to pull off the overcut on the number 37? Head back now to the battle between LaJoie, although LaJoie has pit, and I believe Harvick has pit as well. Nope, Harvick has stayed out so far, with the 62 of Gragson pitting as well. That means it most likely will be the 11 of Hamlin and the 4 of Harvick, as the 2 lead cars still on the track. Although Denny Hamlin has now entered pit lane. Let's see if his crew's able to pull off a stop, able to close that 1 second gap to Ryan Preece. We follow him down pit road. Speed limit of 40 miles an hour. He pulls into his box. The right side goes up to take 2 tires at least. And it drops as the 62 of Gragson goes through and exits pit lane, as does the 41 of Custer. And Denny Hamlin is taking 4 tires on this pit stop. Not surprising considering we still have about 23 laps to go in this race. As Hamlin powers out of the pits, there's the 37 of Preece. It looks like he's done it. It looks like Denny Hamlin has been able to pull off the overcut on the 37 and take the lead of this race. Now as we wait for Hamlin to pass the start-finish line in order to confirm our suspicions. But the real wild card is, where is the 13 of Early? And there he is. The number 13 of James Early pulled off a masterclass pit stop there from his crew by undercutting the 37 by 1 lap and the 11 by 2 laps, and being able to get clean air coming out of the pits. He has been able to open up a 4 1/4 second lead with only 21 laps to go. Surely it is Early's race to lose now, which would be an impressive feat for a driver in his second ever FASCAR race, in his second ever oval start, after moving over from the European Junior Open Road categories. Although, will Early show his inexperience here by being able to not get around lap traffic as efficiently as the veteran Denny Hamlin? As Early most likely will be used to the European system of blue flags, forcing lap cars or cars about to go a lap down to get out of the way. Although Early dispatches the 24 of Byron supremely well coming out of turn 22. With 19 left to go here at Phoenix, James Early leads from Denny Hamlin, although Ross Chastain has significant damage to the rear of his car. Something must have happened while he was trying to enter onto pit road. As the 9 of Elliott looks to the inside of Early, is able to try and unlap himself. Early is definitely getting slowed up by this, as Denny Hamlin has cut into that lead. The lead now being 3.8 seconds. See, Hamlin is entering 3 and 4, about to power out on the front stretch, as Early again has definitely been slowed up by the 9 of Elliott trying to unlap himself. As Early just lets him go, and Chase Elliott is back on the lead lap. As you can see here, some cars are multiple laps down. No surprise that the 48 is still in last position, 7 laps down, as he had mechanical issues early on that forced him to make 2 unscheduled pit stops, as well as Ross Chastain, who made contact with somebody, going now 5 laps down. The surprises are the 38 and 8, who both stayed out on that original caution and were on the lead lap for a significant portion of this race. They must have had extremely slow pit stops or a small mechanical issue, causing them to lose time. As you see, Early is now only 2.5 seconds ahead of Hamlin, and Early is now approaching a pack of 5 lead lap cars that will most certainly fight to stay on the lead lap. These cars are also all engaged in a battle with each other for 14th through 18th position. As the 9 of Elliott makes an ambitious dive bomb up the inside of Wallace, Almirola, and Custer, and seems to make it stick for the most part, although Wallace and Almirola power around the outside, possibly getting around him as they approach the slow lap car of Alex Bowman. Early was able to pad his lead a little bit, but now he's in the meat grinder here with all these cars out in front of him as he dives down the inside of Almirola and Bowman. Hamlin, you can see, is sitting behind the 24 of Byron, getting slowed up a little, although he was able to cut half a second into Early's lead on the last lap as we approach the end of lap 61 here at Phoenix. LaJoie has been able to maintain his 6th place through the second pit cycle with an impressive strategy by the number 20 crew of Christopher Bell, able to jump him from 15th to 5th on that last cycle. McDowell's recovered a little bit into 4th place as Ryan Preece is holding down a very solid number 3. As now Hamlin only has to get around the 10 of Almirola, and then he will be right behind the 13 as a caution flag waves. Let's see if we can find who was involved in this incident. Some smoke in turns 3 and 4. Oh, and number 12 of Ryan Blaney and the 20 of Christopher Bell looks to be damaged. Let's go to replay to see if we can find out what happened to the cars. As you can see here, Ryan Blaney is going down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4 when Ryan Preece simply just drives through Blaney. As I'm sure Kyle Busch right behind him is laughing his head off after Blaney did the same to Busch last week at Las Vegas. This is what caused the second caution of today to come out as we go back to the live as Early is waiting for the pace car, since he has already crossed the start-finish line on the previous lap, as he now speeds up to head behind the pace car. Early surely will not have wanted that, as he was able to maintain that lead over Denny Hamlin. Now that lead is all but evaporated as we cross the stripe on lap 63 with a grand total of 12 laps to go. Now, Early being in that first group that chose to stay out during the first caution means that he most likely will have enough fuel to get to the end of this race, although he did seem to pit a bit early during the last cycle of pit stops as he undercut the 37 of Priest. Will he decide to come down pit road now to top off to make sure he can make it to the end, or will he risk it for the biscuit, as they say, and try to take his first career win here in only his second FASCAR race? The veteran Denny Hamlin most certainly will have enough fuel, as he stayed out the longest of the top four in order to overcut the 37 of Priest, as well as he pit during the first caution, meaning that his natural pit cycle was a few laps behind those that stayed out. Michael McDowell also falls in this category of will he risk it, and it looks like he will, as no one has decided to come down pit road, as pit road open to the lap cars, except for the number 48 of Alex Bowman, who most likely has visited pit road again due to his many mechanical issues throughout this race. So, as we are under caution here on lap 64 going to 65 of the scheduled 75 laps, let's run through the order. The number 13 of James Early is in the lead, followed by the number 11 of Denny Hamlin, the number 37 of Ryan Priest, the number 34 of Michael McDowell, who's behind several lap cars between him and Priest, followed by the 20 of Christopher Bell, who looks quite beat up. Looks like he's been through the worst today, as I'm surprised that he is not pit to repair that damage. Next is the number 7 of Corey LaJoie, who is lined up behind his teammate, Justin Haley, although Haley is at least 1 lap down. Correct. Haley is 1 lap down in 27th position. Behind LaJoie is the 4 of Harvick, who has been chasing down LaJoie throughout this race, followed by the number 1 of Kurt Busch, the number 5 of Kyle Larson, and the number 62 of Noah Gragson, who seems to have lost his hood somewhere. Again, I'm surprised that itself did not cause a caution. It must have been a separate incident during pit stops that caused damage to several of the cars while they were on pit lane, and it has been known to happen. Behind Gragson is the number 2 of Keselowski, followed by the 19 of Truex. The number 14 of Briscoe having a strong day in only his third FASCAR race. The 9 of Elliott is in 14th, with the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse rounding out the top 15. The 23 of Bubba Wallace and the 41 of Cole Custer round out the last podium lap cars. We go back to the front. The pace car lights are out with only 10 laps to go here. As we get to the stripe, there will be 9 to go. As can the rookie James Early hold on to the lead? It defended from the defending 500 miles of Daytona winner, Denny Hamlin, who was looking to rebound after the disappointing week last week in Las Vegas. Again, for those watching, if you have not seen the first 2 races of the season, you can find them on the Wargiven Racing Hub channel in the 2021 FASCAR season playlist if you want to catch up on how your driver has been doing so far throughout the season. As we go back, green flag racing here at Phoenix, as Denny Hamlin looks to go to the outside of Almirola through the dogleg in order to chase down Early, as Early leads into turns 1 and 2, although here comes Priest diving down the inside of the 17 of Buscher into turns 1 and 2. Although Byron's looking to make a move on Almirola for, I believe, 18th position, and that is correct, for 18th, although he loses out to Buscher as Buscher power rounds the outside. But now Hamlin is right on the back of Early, is Early able to hold him off with only 9 laps to go. 8 laps to go as they cross the stripe for lap 67, as Denny Hamlin powers down the inside through the dogleg. Can Early hold on through the outside? It doesn't look like it. It looks like Hamlin's going to have lead in Early slow. Must have just gone a bit loose, as Early will now have to chase down Denny Hamlin for the lead as Ryan Priest looks to clear the last lap car between him, although Almirola gets the outside, meaning that Priest has 2 lap cars between him and first and second place. As we look back, you can see McDowell stuck in the wad of lap traffic with Harvick much the same. although Kurt Busch is able to be right behind Kevin Harvick in the fight for 6th place. As Denny Hamlin has opened up a 0.6 of a second lead over the number 13 of James Early. Again, Early is seeming to struggle on old tires, although only 2 laps older than Denny Hamlin, makes a significant difference on the restart. As Priest now closes behind the 17 of Buescher in order to make a move possibly into 2nd place past Early, as Denny Hamlin runs away with the lead. It's now up to 1.75 seconds with only 6 laps to go. As Priest gets to the back bumper of Early, might push him out of the way, much like he did with Ryan Blaney. That caused the 2nd caution of today's race. As Christopher Bell makes an absolute dive bomb heading in turns 3 and 4 to take 3rd place from Ryan Priest. As we complete lap 70 and head on to lap 71, it looks like Denny Hamlin will be able to win his 2nd race of the season, as James Early seems to just have nothing left in the tank. As Christopher Bell is now catching up to Early and looks to make a move down the inside. Will he go for another ambitious dive bomb into 3 and 4? Yes, he does. Christopher Bell is not afraid to send it up the inside today, as you can probably tell from the state of his damaged car. An impressive run for the 2nd-year driver with his 1st year at Joe Gibbs. See farther back in the field. Truex, as we have contact further up in the field. Looks like someone hit the 12 of Blaney up into the outside groove, making Blaney's day even worse. And we see Cope Custer and Stenhouse looking to cut their way through lap traffic, as poor Noah Gragson, after having such a strong beginning to this race, has been dropping down the pack due to his damage. Wide by Elliott, trying to move into 9th position past Brad Keselowski, as it looks like a few cars have to pit. McDowell Early, their gamble has not paid off, and they have to pit. That surely will drop them down into the low teens, high 20s for finishing position today. As that means now that Christopher Bell is most certainly in 2nd place, followed by Ryan Priest in 3rd, with Kevin Harvick inheriting 4th place. Although, correction, Kurt Busch has inherited 4th place, as Busch was able to get past Kevin Harvick on the past lap. Harvick still having a solid top 5 for today's race. As we go to the white flag, the final lap, Denny Hamlin has a commanding lead over his teammate, Christopher Bell. It would take a miracle for Christopher Bell to be able to catch up to Denny Hamlin here on this last lap. As Denny Hamlin exits turn number 2, he has enough fuel to make it to the finish, powers down the backstretch for the final time, heads into 3 and 4. And quite an anticlimactic finish to an otherwise fantastic race, as Denny Hamlin wins the Phoenix 300, followed by his teammate Christopher Bell, as Chris Buescher finishes a lap down, though ahead of James Early. Priest, a solid 3rd place finish with Kurt Busch finishing 4th, Kevin Harvick in 5th, rounding out your top 5 in today's race. As we go to the final results, I just want to thank those who stuck around to watch today's race. As we look at the official race results, you can see that Denny Hamlin led 12 laps on his way to victory today, followed by Christopher Bell with that late charge into 2nd place from all the way back in 20th. Ryan Priest, a strong finish of 3rd place, led 17 laps in today's race. Kurt Busch led 2 laps today during the pit cycles, meaning that he picked up an extra 5 bonus points. Kevin Harvick, a solid 5th place finish. A massive improvement of 29 positions is Chase Elliott into 6th place from his starting position of 35th. Brad Keselowski finishes 7th after starting 8th. Corey LaJoie up 19 places from 27th, finishing 8th. Cole Custer dropping down from pole position down to 9th place, but is still a solid top 10. As Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounds out the top 10 with a solid 10th place finish. Bubba Wallace moving up a position from 12th to 11th throughout the race. Noah Gragson, although slightly disappointed that he was unable to manage a top 10, finishes on the lead lap with a solid 12th place finish. Martin Truex Jr. finishes 13th for Joe Gibbs, as Joe Gibbs has all their cars minus Kyle Busch in the top 15. Chris Buescher, the first car a lap down, finishes 14th, followed by James Early, who, despite leading 19 laps in today's race, was unable to finish on the lead lap due to a late race fuel strategy gamble. Joey Logano finishes 16th, which is impressive considering he had to pit off cycle right after the first caution. Austin Dillon finishes in 17th, followed by Michael McDowell, who had dropped 16 places from 2nd to 18th to finish one lap down, although McDowell picked up 10 bonus points for leading the most laps in today's race. Daniel Suarez, a solid top 20 for only the second race of the Trackhouse team, as they failed to qualify for the first race of the season. Eric Almirola rounds out the top 20, dropping down from a starting place of 7th place. Cody Ware in 21st, followed by Kyle Busch in 22nd, William Byron in 23rd, Josh Bilicki in 24th, Chase Briscoe a 25th place finish, followed by Ryan Newman in 26th, Kyle Larson, most likely due to a late race fuel gamble, also going bad, finishes 27th after running in the top 10 for most of today's race, followed by 28th finisher Matt DiBenedetto, then Eric Jones in 29th, one lap down after some significant damage to the rear of his car. Very impressive that he managed to only finish one lap down. 30th is the 00 of Quinn Half, followed by the 31 of Ryan Blaney, who finished the race on pit road due to significant damage to his car. Another disappointing day for the 8 of Tyler Reddick as he finishes 32nd. Anthony Alfredo's strong early stint in the race, ruined by a bad pit stop, causes him to finish 33rd. Justin Haley finishes 34th, 3 laps down. Ross Chastain, due to an incident on pit road and suffering severe damage, finishes 5 laps down in 35th, and Alex Bowman, due to several mechanical issues early on in the race, finishes 9 laps down in 36th. As you can see on the right, Christopher Bell took the fastest lap with a 27.826. The most laps led were by the number 34 of Michael McDowell with 25. We had 5 leaders today, with the 11 of Denny Hamlin leading 12 laps, Ryan Preece leading 17 laps, Kurt Busch leading 2 laps, James Early leading 19 laps, and Michael McDowell leading 25. And then pole was won today by Cole Custer. So, taking a look at the driver's standings, Denny Hamlin regains the lead with his second win of the season, although Michael McDowell, with his top 15 finish, drops only 1 position down to second place. Chase Elliott remains in third, and Logano and Preece drop. And Logano drops 2 positions from second all the way down to fourth. Ryan Preece goes up 2 positions into fifth place with his strong finish today. Keselowski, Bell are tied on points for 6th and 7th position as Cole Custer, Martin Truex Jr., and Kurt Busch round off the top 10. Some disappointing results today are from Tyler Reddick, who remains in 30th position in the point standings, not the way of Richard Childress' car wants to get off to the start of the season. Noah Gragson remains in 20th position in points with his strong finish today, and Bubba Wallace jumps up 3 spots into 18th in the point standings. Now looking at the team standings, Joe Gibbs extends their lead in the championship over Team Penske with a 110-point lead after only 3 races. JTG Daugherty Racing only 15 points behind Penske in 3rd place, which is quite impressive considering they are a much smaller outfit. Front Row Motorsports holds 4th place, dropping down 2 positions due to Alfredo and McDowell struggling today. Stewart Haas, a surprising 6th place in the team standings, despite their win last week with Kevin Harvick. Chip Ganassi still maintains 7th, as Roush maintains 8th. Spire jumps Richard Childress up into 9th place, as Rick Ware, 2311, Beard Motorsports, Wood Brothers Racing all maintain their positions. Union Jack Racing jumps Starcom Racing in the standings, up 1 place into 15th, as Starcom falls down into 16th. Trackhouse pass Richard Petty Motorsports for 17th, as Colleague, Live Fast, Gaunt Brothers, and MBM Motorsports remain the same, as none of their cars made the race today. And that wraps up coverage for our 3rd race of the season at the Phoenix International Speedway for the Phoenix 300, as we head next week to Auto Club Speedway in California for the California 400.